As we transition this fall and winter at ARC from serving hundreds to serving thousands, it's so important in this season that we remind ourselves how this organization started, what our passion was when the first client showed up. We'll soon be 10 years from that day when our very first client, Vanessa Horn, now Vanessa Keaton, showed up at Karen's Place, our first women's center here in Louisa. We were all focused on that moment when the first client would show up. I remember well the day that Vanessa Horn, now Keaton, showed up at Karen's Place. And I don't know if she was more scared of us or if we were more scared of her.
When I arrived at Karen's Place, it was the most welcoming environment. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't want anybody to welcome me. I didn't want to be there. My mom literally drove the bus to get me there, but I was still welcomed with open arms.
It was the first time any of us had done this kind of work. All we knew is that God had called us to love her and to tell her about a redemption story that could be hers through the redemption story of Jesus Christ.
They made sure I was safe. They made sure that I was cared for. They loved me until I could learn to love myself, because that was non-existent at that point. And they made sure that I knew, literally, that if I was the only one there, they were going to be there for me. They taught me that it was okay to mess up. It was okay to not get things right. It was okay to have bad days and have good days. Helped me to really just figure out who I was, just really learn to get in touch with Vanessa, because I didn't have any idea who she was when I got there. So.
And though we didn't really know how we were going to pay the electric bill the first month, we were all volunteers, there was no resources, she came in. And because we were all focused on her, on that one life, on God's behalf, everything changed for her and everything changed for us.
When you watch people in life, you either learn what you want to do or what you don't want to do. And seeing how these volunteers treated me showed me how I wanted to treat people in the future. Because they didn't have to be there. They didn't have to show up for me every day. They didn't have to show up with enthusiasm to help me to learn to live a life of recovery. But they chose to do that every day. And so having that memory in my mind helps me to be able to choose to show up for people that I don't have to show up for today.
And so as we move to serving thousands and not just hundreds, it's important that ARC is reminded of the focus and the heart of that group of people that started this organization over a decade ago. And as we make this transition, we double down on that focus.